beginner exercises, and if you practice them a good few times, you should get to grips with them. So in this video, we're just going to practice 5 beginner exercises. So I'm just going to take you through each one, and you can take your time doing them. Maybe do 6 to 8 reps of each and try and get a good technique and a good grasp on how to do them properly. So before we start that, I'm just going to go over the 3 main points, which is pelvic neutral, having the pelvis in a neutral position. So when we're doing the 50-50, that's the second one we're going to be doing. That's just getting the pelvis into a neutral position, which will get your spine into neutral position. So we usually do that, as you remember, lying on the mat, kind of flattening our spine into the mat and then curving it the other way so we have a nice arch. You can also practice that standing up against the wall, which is a good way to do it. So obviously when you are standing, you are able to get that neutral position, because a lot of us kind of stand with kind of an arch in our back and we're kind of compressing that lower spine. So if we can learn how to kind of control the pelvis when we're standing, that'll help you maybe relieve pain if you're having a tightness or feel that lower area is slightly compressed. The next one is the pelvic floor. So the pelvic floor is basically a group of muscles at the base of the pelvis, and they're the muscles that kind of stop us weeing and kind of stop us, let's say, breaking wind. So we all know the sensation of trying to hold one in basically, or not wee. So and if you're unsure of how it feels, try stopping yourself peeing mid-flow, and that will help you kind of fire up those muscles and give me an idea of what the sensation feels like, because sometimes when you're doing the pelvic floor stuff, you might be unsure if you're actually doing it properly. So that's a good way of kind of feeling what the muscles feel like to work, and when you're doing the exercise then it should help you a lot more. So when we're doing the exercises, we're just looking for a 20% contraction, something nice and gentle, just enough to fire the muscles, and we're not looking for something like 100% where we clinch really hard. We're just looking for 20%, so that's all we want there. And the last one is just to be able to breathe properly. So nice full breaths, kind of expanding, let's say, the rib cage, not looking to be kind of blowing in and out the tummy, or shallow breathing, which is kind of, sometimes you might notice that a lot of us kind of breathe up here, just kind of very shallow breaths and just kind of not filling out our lungs properly. So nice smooth breathing, and try and connect movement with breath, and just take it easy basically. Okay, so we're going to go through 5 exercises in total. It shouldn't take you more than, just say, 5-6 minutes to do these. So once you have them down, practice them a few bits, then once you get to grips with them, you just fly through them and it'll be quite quick. Okay, so practice. Alright, so the first one is going to be the quad position. Okay, so you obviously come down from a standing position onto your knees, and the hands flat on the mat. So wrists underneath the shoulders and knees underneath the hips. So nice straight line, a nice straight line with the arms, and nice and solid. Okay, so be sure that you're not kind of knees together in this as well, just kind of knees shoulder width apart as well. So deep breath in, and as you breathe out, you're going to arch your back, or you're going to flatten your back out actually, sorry, and push your hands into the mat and drop the head. As you breathe in, bringing the head up, and you're dropping the tummy towards the floor. So when the head is up, you're looking straight forward. As you can see, kind of, I have an arch on my back and my bum is sticking out. So I'll breathe in and out. Breathe in, dropping the head. Breathe out, dropping the tummy towards the floor and bringing the head up. Okay, so nice and smooth. In and out. And in and out. So just watch out for controlling, especially when you're coming back in this one, when you're coming up here, that you don't just fly up or let it kind of wriggle over and back. You want to keep it nice and smooth, nice and controlled. Okay, so that's the first one. Second one is going to be 50-50. So just back onto your bum. So you bring yourself into the centre of the mat and drop down. If any of you have any back issues, kind of drop onto an elbow and come down that way. Okay, so heels up towards your bum, and we're going to, let's say, put our hands, we're going to get our hands like that, we're going to put them on the crests that are on the top, on the side of the pelvis, on the hips region. Okay, as we breathe in, we're going to roll it, so we're kind of rotating and we're flattening our back into the mat. As we breathe out, we're going to rotate it the other way, and we end up with a nice arch underneath our back. So I can get my hand in there, no problem. So as I breathe in, I flatten. I breathe out, roll it the other way, and let your hands guide you here, okay? So you don't want any kind of blown in or blown out of the tummy. It's all pretty relaxed, and it's all just teaching you how to find pelvic neutral, and that'll help you perform the exercises and protect your back. Okay, so it's called a 50-50 because we're going to find midpoint between, let's say, flat into the mat and having a big arch. So I'm going to bring it back, and you're going to end up with just a small arch. So you're midway between the 2 points, and you're looking for things to be nice and even there. Okay, so that's the second one. So just do maybe 8-10 reps of that, and just nice and relaxed, take it easy, and the more you get used to it, the less you have to do. Okay, so next one we're going to do is the shoulder bridge. So hands flat on the mat. We're in the 50-50 position that we've just done. Okay, so there's a small arch in your back. So I'll just perform the exercise first. So I'm going to breathe in as I flatten. As I breathe out, I'm going to breathe out nice and loud through your mouth as you're peeling upwards. Peel up, 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 until you reach the top. Squeeze the bum, weight going through the heels, and there's a nice straight line between your knee, hip and shoulder. Deep breath in. As you breathe out, you're going to push into the mat as you come down. Flatten your back and come back to 50-50. So deep breath in as you flatten. As you breathe out through your mouth, up you come, one level at a time, squeezing the glutes, weight through the heels. Deep breath in at the top. As you breathe out, pushing each level into the mat as you come down. Keep everything nice and smooth, nice and controlled. Big long exhale. And flatten and come back to 50-50. Breathe in, flatten, out. Up we come. Nice and slow, nice and controlled. Deep breath in. As you breathe out, down one level at a time. And just at the end, when you're coming to the arch, kind of lower back, you might just have to kick the hips, kind of flatten it towards the mat, so you can kind of push those lower levels into the mat, and then you come back to 50-50. Okay, so nice and controlled, nice and slow. You're looking to get a bit of movement into each level of the spine, and you're looking to kind of really connect with your breath as well. So it's a nice movement for getting that movement into the spine and to kind of get control of your breathing as you perform a movement. The next one we're going to do is tabletop position. So we're going to move the legs. So we're going again 50-50. Okay, and actually before we do that, we just practice the pelvic floor contraction and ab contraction. Okay, so we're going to separate the two before, let's say, we go performing the exercise. Okay, so to perform the pelvic floor contraction, we're going to just put our hands on our tummy. So we want to be able to contract the pelvic floor without our tummy kind of blown in, blown out, or tensing up too much. Okay, so just so we narrow it down to the pelvic floor and not have these bigger muscles kicking in and overriding the pelvic floor, which can happen. Okay, so hands on our tummy into 50-50. As we breathe in, you slowly draw up the pelvic floor. So that's just getting the sensation of stopping yourself peeing mid-flow, stopping yourself wanting to break wind. As you breathe out, totally let it relax, and it should feel everything kind of drop away and relax as you breathe in. Draw it upwards. So you're pulling up towards, let's say, your belly button. You can imagine that kind of string drawing up the muscle. As you breathe out, let it relax. And again, your tummy's nice and relaxed as you breathe in. Slowly drawn upwards. And as you breathe out, let it relax. Okay, so be sure to practice that a good few times. Once you get the sensation of it, you won't forget it and you won't lose it. Sometimes it can be a bit difficult for some people to feel it, so practice. If you have any questions, just let me know and we'll come up with some other ideas to how to feel the contraction. So finally, we're just going to do a couple of reps of breathing in and contracting the pelvic floor, and then at the end of the breath in, we're going to tense the tummy muscles. So when I say tense the tummy muscles, it's just putting a bit of tension in the tummy muscles. So it's like squeezing your forearm, so it's not kind of bulging in or out, it's just tensing up. And we're going to do the same here. So when you say tense the tummy, you're not going to suck it in or blow it out, just kind of squeezing it slightly, just give it a bit of tension and firm it up. Okay, so again, hands on the tummy as you breathe in. So we're going to breathe in for a count of 5. So as you breathe in, pelvic floor first, and then at the end of the breath, just tense the tummy and relax. And one more time, As you breathe in, drawing up the pelvic floor, and at the end of the breath, tensing the tummy. So the first, 1 to 2, 3, that's kind of the pelvic floor contraction, and then at the end of the inhale, it's tense the tummy. Okay, so break it down that way. So we're going to go into tabletop position. So this is the first exercise that would be, let's say, working the pelvic floor. Hands flat on the mat, heels up towards your bum. As you breathe in, slowly draw up the pelvic floor, tense the tummy. As you breathe out, and put the legs together. Okay, so legs go straight up, straight out, tabletop. So you can imagine that's a table there. And my back is in the 50-50 position. I haven't flattened my back into the mat. I'm going to breathe in for 5 and out for 5. So nice and slow. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. In and out. Drop one leg down nice and controlled, and then drop the other. Okay, so we'll just go through it once more. We're in the 50-50, we're keeping that 50-50 when we're to bring the legs up, so you're not going to bring it up too far, you're going to flatten your back into the mat. You don't want that. Keep that in neutral, so you still have that small little gap. That's you controlling your pelvis, so you want to do your best to achieve that. As you breathe in, you slowly drop the pelvic floor. Brace the tummy muscles, so nice and solid. As you breathe out, you'll feel yourself bringing the leg up, and the tummy's helping you there. As you breathe out, up with the other leg, put them together. Deep breath in, and out, and in, and out. And try to do a number of reps, try maybe 5 or 6 reps. So a breath in and a breath out, that's 1 rep. And break it down that way. So aim for maybe 4 or 5. And just as long as you feel that you're nice and solid and that you're not kind of shaking or just the legs are slowly dropping, just do as many as you can where you keep everything nice and solid. Tummy's working, pelvic floor is working, and the back's in neutral. Okay, so the final exercise is just going to be an extension of the tabletop position, and it's going to be toe taps. Okay, so again, we always want the pelvic floor, tummy tight. We need that stable base on which to move upon. Okay, so that's very important. So as we breathe in, draw up the pelvic floor, get that tummy tight. As you breathe out, breathe in, legs together. As you breathe out, so when I'm doing this, I'm breathing and I'm just touching down the toe, but I'm keeping backs in neutral, and I can feel my tummy working the whole time. Especially when I'm breathing out, I'm feeling that I'm blowing down through the abs and they're still contracting. Okay, so drop one leg down and then the other, and try that. Okay, so that's 5 exercises. Give them a go, see how you get on. If you have any questions, let me know.